As someone that's directed an organization for many years, do you have any suggestions or advice for budget planning or items in your budget to include as it relates to services specifically for older victims?
There's never enough money. I mean, that we all know that. So it's about prioritization and really, and it's never easy. I'm not pretending that it's easy. Let me just say that. But I do think there are some unique needs we have to pay attention to, and some are very simple and some are not. You know, simply, you could spend $200 for a pocket talker. That should exist in any organization anyways, and if you can get more, that's lovely. It's a hearing device that helps hard of hearing. You take it with you and you normalize when you're out doing support groups, educational groups, peer groups, one-to-one, for those individuals who are hard of hearing. You know, the language board, having money in your budget for an interpreter line, and I just need to add to that, knowing where that interpreter line is, because some of them come back to the community you're living in, and that impacts cultural dynamics in a large way. It means getting out of the office, so it increases the travel budget. That's a reality. If you don't have an identified staff, is there an additional staff member you can add through grant funding? Because almost all services are free, so it really has to be about the fundraising. The other piece I think is really important is to have an emergency fund. And I know that makes funders get a little squirrely, but that may mean an independent fundraiser. And that means for that person that needs money for a security deposit, for that person that maybe in the rural community needs to get to a hotel for the night, that money currently doesn't exist in many places. Some organizations do have that in their budget, but that is not true across the board.
You know, I always say have a dream list. And one of the things I think about is many of the facilities that I'm familiar with as far as shelter services need to have budgets or individuals that are doing development. We need additional dollars in the development fund base. And essentially, we need to reach out to the philanthropic community for things like true build-outs for shelters, even bringing shelters up accessibility-wise, whether we do WIDA grants or whatever we need the line items for atmosphere changes that have to do with our ability to provide services respectfully and effectively. Another thing we need to consider is transportation. Housing is significant. We do a lot of with younger people, first month's rent and security deposit, you know, and thinking for an elder that is receiving services, we may need to extend that like 2-3 months rent, security deposit, and things like that. Thinking about just the hygiene needs of an elder, and they may need different types of, you know, we always have standard things, this shampoo, this soap, this, and that may not seem like something as significant, but it is to an individual that has certain skin issues. You know, we need more budget items around basic needs.
One of the things we found is reaching self-sufficiency for an older individual takes longer. And so I think keeping that in mind, that perhaps our programs need to be longer and time-wise is a consideration that we should think of when we're doing budget line items.